Greetings, plant enthusiasts, and welcome from the top of Tortugas Mountain, also known as A Mountain, or as my niece would say, Auntie Amy Mountain. So we're going to look at some plants today that are typical of the Chihuahuan Desert, including plants that occur at slightly higher elevations than the lowlands that you would expect in the surrounding area. We've got the Oregon Mountains here where we have already visited, and let's go look at some plants.
Yucca elata, or soap tree yucca, is in the Agaveaceae family. Some of the more recent botanical classifications have this in the Asparagaceae family. But the word yucca comes from a Haitian word referring to its fruit and the fact that the inflorescences are roasted for food, and elata means tall. Soap tree yucca is one of the more iconic species in the Chihuahuan Desert, typically found in desert washes or plains or on mesas or even in grassland systems. The leaves of this species are pliable, although sharp pointed, and the inflorescence is often on a long stalk with racemose branches. From an ethnobotanical standpoint, the flowers are often sought after by animals, grazing animals in particular. The buds are also used for food, and the roots are used to make soap, and the leaves are used for basket weaving. And I've spoken to some Native American potters who use the base of the leaves, the fibers of those leaves, for paintbrushes. Another species of yucca found in this area is Yucca torreyi, referred to as Yucca trichuliana by some taxonomists. This is also in the Agaveaceae family, and torreyi comes from the botanist John Torrey. This species shares similar features to Yucca elata in that it has a stem or tree-like growth form where plants are between 1 and 5 meters tall, but dissimilar in that the leaves of this species are much more robust. Leaves on this species are very thick, they're rigid. They often look like a canoe in cross-section, either mostly U or V-shaped. They have a sharp tip and also fibers along the margin of the leaves, coarse fibers. Inflorescence is panicle-like and the flowers are cream-colored. Agave, lechuguilla, is a species in the Agaveaceae family which could be potentially confused for one of the yucca species to the untrained eye. But once you know the characteristics you need to look for, you shouldn't have a problem. The common name for this is just lechuguilla, and agave refers to something that's noble or handsome, and lechuguilla refers to small lettuce. This species is acaulescent, meaning that it does not have a stem. In the leaves, you'll notice those teeth on the margins. They're spaced about 2 to 4 centimeters. And the leaves themselves are yellow, green to light green with a sharp spine-like tip. The inflorescence stalk is pretty tall. An interesting thing about this plant is once it flowers, the individual plant dies, as shown here. The inflorescences are spicate, and the flowers are found in clusters of 2 to 4. The fruits of this species are capsules. Fouquieria splendens, also known as Ocotillo, is in the Fouquieriaceae family. Fouquieria comes from the name of a French naturalist, and splendens means splendid. Ocotillo is another iconic species found in this area, where it's a shrub-like species with multiple stems that don't branch. Ocotillo leaves develop shortly after a rain, and they can fall off and redevelop when there's adequate moisture. The bark is deeply furrowed and has a spine like armature. The flowers are a red to pink-red color and found in dense panicles. Ethnobotanical uses of this plant are to make a summer drink or tonic out of the blossoms. The seeds were ground into flour to make cakes or a mush, and there were some other food items like candy made out of the nectar from the flowers. Koeberlinia spinosa is in the Caparaceae family and is also known as crown of thorns. Koeberlinia comes from the name of a German botanist, and spinosa refers to the thorny nature of this plant. This is a native shrub to this area, and it could be easily overlooked in some instances, but when you get up close, it is pretty remarkable because of its stout thorns, and the leaves are very small, often inconspicuous. The flowers have 4 petals and 4 sepals with 8 stamen, which are about as long as the petals. The fruits are these berries, which are either red or black in appearance. Cylindropuntia leptocaulis is in the Cactaceae family and is also known as Christmas cactus. Cylindropuntia is referring to the cylinder-shaped stem segments, and leptocaulis is referring to the slender nature of those stems. Christmas cactus is generally an inconspicuous species because of its slender nature. However, when it's in fruit, those red fruits really stand out. The spines are quite variable and can be up to 4 centimeters long. The flowers are a pale yellow to yellow-green color, and the fruits are a bright red that are about 1 to 3 centimeters long. Opuntia phaeacantha, another species in the Cactaceae family, also known as tulip prickly pear, is one of the many species of Opuntia we have in New Mexico. Opuntia refers to the Latin word for puncti or prickled, and phaeacantha refers to the dark and dusky nature of some of the spines. This species of prickly pear is highly variable and has 2 to 4 spines per areole, and they can vary in length from 3 to 8 centimeters long. Some of the pads will show a pinkish or purple color when they're under stress, and the base of the spines tend to be flattened and dark in appearance. Many species eat the pads of prickly pear cactus, including humans, and the fruits are made into a variety of treats, jams, jellies, as well as some drinks. Echinocereus stramenis is in the Cactaceae family, and the common name for this species is strawberry hedgehog cactus. Echinocereus is loosely translated into hedgehog candle, alluding to the candle-like appearance of the stems, and stramenis refers to the fact that the cactus is the color of straw, or has the appearance of the color of straw. This species has numerous stems which are tightly clustered with very dense spines. And the spines at upper portions of each stem are quite a bit longer. The flowers are large, measuring up to about 4 inches in diameter, and are a pink to deep magenta color. Echinocactus horizontalonius is in the Cactaceae family, and some common names for this species is devil's head or eagle's claw cactus. And similar to the Echinocereus, the Echinocactus is referring to the hedgehog properties, and horizontalonius is referring to the growth form, which is more horizontal than vertical. This small barrel cactus often occurs with a single stem. The top is often flat. It has numerous ribs that vary between 5 and 13, frequently 8. The flowers are large and occur in terminal locations, and the spines are unique in that they curve downwards and have the appearance of an eagle's claw. Ferocactus wislizení is in the Cactaceae family, and the common name for this species is candy barrel cactus, or more colloquially known as fishhook barrel cactus. Ferocactus refers to the fierce spine nature of this plant, and wislizení refers to a German botanist who helped discover this plant. This long-lived cactus is also referred to as the compass cactus because of its tendency to lean towards the south. This is a columnar cactus that is more tall than wide, and it has somewhere between 20 and 28 ribs. A notable feature are the spines, where that central spine is curved downwards, looking very similar in appearance to a fish hook. The fruits look like little pineapples. From an ethnobotanical standpoint, the central spines that were curved down were actually used as fish hooks, and the top of the cactus in dire times was lopped off, and the pulp was crushed as a source of water. The fruits were also used to make candy. Krameria erecta is in the Krameriaceae family, and the common name is little leaf ratney. Krameria refers to an Austrian botanist, and erecta refers to the upright nature of this plant. Little leaf ratney is a small native shrub with very dense branches. The leaves are alternate and small, linear in shape, and the stems of the plant are gray. The flowers on this shrub are very beautiful. They're a deep magenta and very showy, about 1.5 centimeters in size. The fruits are round with spine-like projections, and this species, from an ethnobotanical standpoint, was used to make red dye. Aloysia wrightü is in the Verbeniaceae family, and the common name of this species is Wright's bee brush. Aloysia is a word that honors a former princess of Parma who is Maria Luisa Teresa, and wrightü refers to Charles Wright, the botanist. Wright's bee brush is an upright shrub where the leaves are opposite and the stems are square, as you would expect for this family. The leaves have small rounded teeth, and this plant is very fragrant. The flowers are small, but this is a species that is a highly attractive plant for pollinators. as you would expect from its name, and from an ethnobotanical standpoint, it's been used to treat headaches and rheumatism and used to make a tonic. Dasyochloa pulchella is in the Poaceae family, and this species is known as low woolly grass or fluff grass. Now the word Dasyochloa comes from dais, which is shaggy, and choya, which is grass, and this is referring to the woolly spikelets, and pulchella is the Latin word for beautiful. This species is a small native perennial grass that many people mistake for an annual because of its small nature. Some may not even recognize that it is a grass because it's unusual in that the leaves extend well beyond the inflorescence. Heteropogon contortus is in the Poaceae family, and the common name for this species is tanglehead. Heteropogon is from the Greek word that translates into differently or variously bearded, and contortus refers to the awns which are twisted. This is a neat species that I had never seen until I moved to New Mexico. It's a native, fairly robust species that has good forage quality. Similar to other species in the Androbagoniae tribe, this species, as it senesces, tends to have that orange to red appearance in the culms. The awns of this species can be quite long and often have a tangled appearance. We're going to finish off this virtual field trip with a special species, Aristida purpurea, which is in the Poaceae family, and this is purple 3-awn. Aristida is referring to the awn features associated with the spikelets, and purpurea is referring to the color. This photo illustrates the purple inflorescences well. There's a total of 6 varieties of Aristida purpurea, and this is a bunchgrass species which typically is considered poor in forage quality. It occurs on sandy sites and tends to increase with disturbance. The 3 awns are associated with the floret characteristics in the inflorescence and can be considered a nuisance to both humans and grazing animals. Thank you for checking out this virtual field tour, and I want to give a special thank you to the NMSU Innovative Media Research and Extension Group who loaned me an iPad to create this.